Good evening everyone and welcome back to the channel. Before I go on, I want to mention that in this video description you can find a playlist of my previous characters analysis and a playlist of my tier list videos starting from January 2020. Today we're going to be talking about Vayne and his EX realization that came earlier today. I'm going to go over his strengths and weaknesses as well as which artifacts you should be aiming for, and finally if he's worth investing and how much you should invest in him. At the end of the analysis there will be a pre-recorded solo chaos run with my own Vayne in the newest chaos stage, showcasing his damage output and potential with commentary. So let's get started. For this analysis I'll be talking about the purple Vayne, since that is his peak of his power, so keep that in mind please. Vayne is one of those units that never fall out of the picture because of his overloaded kit. Thanks to that kit, he's able to rise back to power whenever he receives a new update, in this case his EX+. Vayne did not get a rework this time around because he simply didn't need one. I know a few people, myself included, who have been using Vayne in chaos stages even before his EX realization, and his only problem was average to low damage, especially after the defenses of chaos bosses skyrocket. Well, today's Vayne is a different case. If you're familiar with Vayne and his kit, he's able to constantly get free turns whenever his Conqueror's buff is at 3 stacks. He gains Conqueror stacks with all of his skills and attacks except his Bloom. That sometimes can become a double-edged sword because, as you know, with characters like Ultimecia who also get a lot of free turns, they can burn through party buffs a lot faster than the average unit. He has the amazing longevity that comes with an EX restoring one use of each of his skills, and he also provides some party utility in the form of a 30% attack and an amazing 60% max brave aura. Vayne only applies 2 unique buffs on himself at all times, meaning he gets 4 free buff slots for his teammates to fill, making him even more stronger than he already is. My personal and honestly only problem with Vayne is his magic EX, which gives him the same problem as Zac, meaning that a lot of his damage is shut down in magic resistance stages. Recommended artifacts for Vayne is 108 attack, his Imperial console boost 2 stars, and 330 max brave as a consolation prize. Now let's see if you should invest in Vayne or not. Honestly, the short answer is yes. You should definitely purple Vayne with no questions asked, seeing how strong he is. At least that's what I would say if we didn't have RNA in this game. In this case you have more things to consider. They are very similar, and some people may argue that Arania is better than Vayne, mainly thanks to the debuff she provides. So if your resources are not looking too good, or if you are already planned to purple other characters this month, then I wouldn't purple Vayne. Keep in mind that we are getting a high amount of interesting characters this month. If you happen to not get Arania on her release, then I can't stress enough what an addition to your roster Vayne would be. Now, a different message to content creators such as myself. There's a big difference between Vayne and Aranea, which is very simple. Chaos runs that you upload to your YouTube channel with Vayne will not get automatically invalidated by some people like Aranea runs usually are. So if you like to actually use strong characters in your runs without feeling like you're letting everyone down, then yes, you should invest in Vayne. Now that that's out of the way, let's see how much you should invest in Vayne, if you decide to do so. A single book increases the brave hits on his EX, it gives him 20% more overflow on all of his skills, and lastly, he gains brave at the end of his turn based on his max brave, while his Conqueror's buff is at 3 stacks. That's a pretty hefty upgrade for just using a book on him. Investing 1 ingot on Vayne gives him the usual permanent attack and max brave buff, while investing 2 ingots increases his critical brave damage dealt and also lets him start the stage with 1 stack of his Conqueror's buff and 10 turns of his Force of Will buff. That's way too important than what initially seems. Starting with 1 stack of his Conqueror's buff means that you can use his Mag Wave once and then go into his free turns way faster. Last and certainly not least, if you invest 3 ingots in Vayne, it makes his EX ability re-break all enemies while it increases the brave damage dealt tremendously and also gives it more overflow to work with. In conclusion, if you decide to invest in him, you should definitely take it all the way and use 3 ingots in him. The ability to re-break all enemies is too valuable to pass on. If you have his EX but decide you don't need him in your roster right now, then a single book is the best investment you can hope for, which makes him an amazing fodder character for dimensions and tiers. Now we're gonna have a pre-recorded chaos solo run by Vayne while I explain my decisions and actions as I go. As you can see, for this run I'm gonna use Leviathan because at the beginning we are going to take an unavoidable HP damage from the worm here, and it will activate Leviathan's unique buff. It will increase our brave regeneration. I'm taking Aranea because she deals the most damage out of all supports right now, and I'm gonna use her on wave 2 in order to get through it as fast as I can, while also using my summon, as you will see in a bit. For Vayne, if you want to attempt to solo his chaos stage with him, you need to keep in mind that you will not be using his usual rotation that you use in a normal party. You want to spam his abilities on the earlier stages, and for the last stage there's going to be a very important rotation for him that will allow him to finish the stage while also working through his abilities without burning them too fast. As you can see with the first wave, I am doing mag wave, mag wave, mag wave into Force of Will and then EX. This way I'm only using one usage of his Force of Will, which I immediately get back with his EX. And as for our mag wave uses, we're gonna try and get them back on the second wave during the summon phase. In the summon phase, you want to spam HP plus as much as you can in order to get your Force of Will and mag wave uses back. For this run, I removed buff attack speed and the other speed passive from Vayne. I'm forgetting the name right now. So Vayne actually has more attack, more speed and more max brave than what he has in this stage, because right now he's missing 2 of his passives. The reason I did that is because I wanted him to be slower for his EX to be up faster, and also because I wanted to take that HP damage at the beginning from the worm. Here with Aranea, I just used her EX once in order to get that break and get the free turn, and then I'm spamming High Wind in order to control the turn until Vayne comes back. I'm gonna use his free pummels. And then I'm gonna go into the summon phase and use some more pummel. As you can see, his damage is actually pretty good, even when he's using HP plus. He's getting a lot of brave back because his Conqueror's Will buff was at 3 stacks. I wanted to refresh my Force of Will buff there in order to get the EX. And we're gonna break them both. You want to go to the last wave with having 5 uses of Force of Will and either 4 or 5 mag waves. you will need as many abilities as possible to the last wave. That is if you are planning to recreate this solo run. I want to mention that I am not the first person that did solo run with Vayne. The first person was Safeena from the JP server. She actually brought a solo Vayne in this stage, but he had 8 master boards instead of the 6 that we have right now. And her support with him was El Nacho, who gets a lot of free turns, and he gets additional friend turns like Realm. So he's a much better support than what Aranea is right now. And the other person is Vayne Novus from the Tomberry troop. He actually did this same run earlier today. Okay, here the rotation will be double force of will into Mag Wave. I mean after this EX. Here begins the rotation of the wave actually. The HP into HP into Mag Wave into HP and then HP into Mag Wave, I believe. Actually, yeah, here I decided to go with the Mag Wave in order to preserve some of my first skill uses. This is a pre-recorded run, so I might have forgotten how I played this. I'm gonna go into another force of will, and then it's gonna be a Mag Wave into EX. Basically, you want to get your EX charged back as fast as you can. You won't really care if you are you don't want to be using your Conqueror's buff stacks to the maximum. You don't want to be efficient. That's what I'm trying to say. HP into Mag Wave to get that EX back. And then from this EX, you either go double force of will into the other EX, or double force of will and then Mag Wave into EX, or triple force of will into EX. This is the second one. And here I'm debating if I should use the first or the second skill. And I decided to go for triple force of will into EX. Now I'm gonna do HP into Mag Wave HP for the free turns again. And we're gonna use Mag Wave Plus to get that EX back up. Remember, if you use HP while you have free turns, your EX will not get charged. So you always have to consider that. Thanks to Force of Will, we are getting a lot of free turns right now. We did double Force of Will into Mag Wave, and then the EX is back up. And then we're gonna do HP double HP I mean, into Mach Wave and HP. The rotation is pretty much the same throughout the video, but there may be times that you want to adjust your rotation to what, depending on what your situation is. For example, here I had a lot of returns before the boss, so I decided to use a few more HP attacks to charge my EX instead of using Mach Wave. Double force of will once again. Into Mach Wave, and then the EX is back up. Double HP into Mach Wave plus HP. I'm sure that by this point you pretty much have memorized the rotation. I'm trying to break the boss with my Bloom ability in order for me to use HP plus pummel, I mean, in order to charge my EX instead of Mach Wave. If you use this rotation correctly, then your force of will buff will not go out before you refresh it. So now, I think the boss is already on half HP. That means that our damage will start to fall off really quickly. I'm gonna show my artifacts for Vayne at the end of the turn. But for his spheres, I want to mention that I am using Vanille Sphere, which dispels the target whenever you break him. And for A Sphere, I'm using King's, which gives him 20% more attack for 3 turns whenever he breaks a target. You can use his own sphere, but I prefer to use, I decided to use King's, because 20% more attack is actually quite a lot. And as you can see, slowly but surely we are able to whittle down the boss's HP. Here I'm debating if I should use Mach Wave or HP Plus again to charge my EX. But I decided to go for the safe route and use my Mach Wave. Because the higher the boss's defense are, the harder it gets for you to break him with your HP attack. As you can see, my force of will is hitting around around 3,700 damage. The rate he can The rate in which Vayne can get abilities back to use again, it's just outstanding. Here I realize that I still have 2 bloom abilities, which is free damage to be honest, and it also increases Vayne's attack further for 3 turns. We're going into double force wheel like earlier, into Mag Wave and then EX. At this point we are trying to use our skills as efficiently as we can in order to finish off the boss. This is where you actually can fuck up. I use my bloom ability there in order to be able to break the boss with my HP attack, so I can get one more turn. And so my EX is up again. And we're gonna go into the usual double force of will. And then Mag Wave into EX. And then double HP, excuse me, into Mag Wave, and then HP again. Gonna go Pummel into Bloom ability, and then break him with Pummel again, and then we can use this break in order to charge our EX with the HP attack. If we hadn't break the boss there, I would have been forced to use my force of will in order to break him and get my EX back. But yeah, as you can see, it's like putting together a puzzle of Vayne's abilities in order to finish this as a solo run. This was actually a really nice brain teaser. I think I had to reset a lot for the last wave in order to get the rotation down correctly. But yeah, if you do get it down correctly, as you can see, the boss didn't get any turns. And like I said, it was a really fun experience. I'm pretty sure a max score is possible with a full team. Well, that was it for the Vayne EX Plus analysis and my thoughts. Like with the video if you did, consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.